They're jacked up Pepsi.
I'm there for the pack out. You just got to pack me in.
Committed to the bow early on. Like, I love getting close and putting up.
You cover a range of stuff on here too, right? Like,
we call this the THP World Headquarters.
You know, my grandpa Roy Weatherby.
I came into like that golden little pocket where there was like 4 or 5 different bulls. Just
You're Canadian? We're doing a Canadian podcast.
my name's Douglas Boat.
I'm Robbie Denning.
Rourke Denver.
So what's shaking down your end of the world?
Not much, man. Just got back up my run in after work and just getting ready to leave for Idaho here at the end of the week. And yeah, just same old stuff, but definitely excited for the fall, man.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you do for work?
So I'm a engineer for a electrical utility. I guess construction engineer is a good way to put it. I used to work for a big like bridge and roadway contractor. I was like a field engineer doing on-site construction management stuff, but now I got a little bit more of like an office job, a little bit easier schedule, I guess. A little bit more time to hunt and stuff, so it's nice.
Yeah. How does that office job affect your training? Does it make it easier?
I guess there's something to be said. I just hate sitting all day, but I guess that's a little bit better than running around on a job site all day. I mean, I see you doing it, so I can't, I guess I can't say too much, but no, make it work.
Yeah.
I was running back when I was doing that too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Some days are a little harder to fit everything in than others for sure.
Yeah.
So why don't just get rolling here, buddy? You haven't been on the show yet. Why don't you just give yourself a little intro here? Just let the folks listening know who you are and what you got going on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Weston Homa. I'm down in the States. I'm back east in Pennsylvania. I grew up hunting whitetails and stuff around here, but really a lot has changed for me over the past 4 years or so when I first started hunting out in our western states in Colorado. And that's the first year. Yeah, it was 2020 when I went out there for elk the first time. And since then, man, it's just kind of just stolen my heart. And that western hunting is something that I think about every single day, all year round, no matter if it's hunting season or not. And since then, I've just like really also dove into the fitness specifically for that hunting style, and a lot of it too running. I mean, back when I first started going out west, I grew up doing all the sports, lifted weights through college, things like that, but really found this passion for western hunting, and I wanted to keep doing it and I wanted to be out there at my best. So really started upping it in the gym and then started really running too. I mean, I see some of these guys running these ultra marathons and stuff. Never, ever, ever did I think I could ever do that kind of stuff. But I started running. I remember running half mile to my gym every day. Back then was like a death sentence, but just kept at it, kept showing up. Really just started enjoying my own like little easy runs I do at the time, and just kept showing up. And now here we are 4 years later. I got a few ultra marathons under my belt. I just qualified for Boston this year.
Nice.
The longest ultra.
What race did you do for the BQ qualify?
So it was in Pittsburgh here in Pennsylvania. And truthfully, it's a pretty hilly marathon to do. So I think I might even look for a flat one in the future. And but no, that's where I got it. And then I ran my longest ultra to date back in June. It was 70 miles, all on trail through our Appalachian mountains out here. It's not quite like the Rockies, but definitely enough gain to make it hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Did that, and now we're just getting ready for going out west again this fall. So yeah, just
What was your time for the to qualify for Boston?
So I got to get under 3 hours because I'm 27-year-old male. I got 2:56:55. Now, I didn't know this when I started running, but just because you qualify doesn't mean you're going to make it. There's a cutoff every year. And you find out what that is towards the end of the year. Once they get all the qualifiers together, they know how many they can take, and then they'll say, "Congrats, you qualified, but unless you got this time, this is where we're cutting it off. Then you can go." So hopefully I'll make it. We'll see. I got a couple minutes in the bank, but hey, if I don't, you know, you just gotta. I'm just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep running, trying to get better. So
Yeah, no doubt. I'm trying to qualify for Boston too. My time's a little easier than you. I got a few years on you. About I'm turning 46 here, so I got about 19 years on you. So
okay, no, that's awesome though, dude. It's coming up when November. Yours?
Yeah, November. So I got to get a 320. They say like 320 time is better, but we'll see, I guess.
All right,
yeah.
you got that. It's just time. It's a lot. I mean, yes, there's little things you can do, but time on feet, man. And you're definitely doing it. You're getting miles in.
Yeah, the only thing I am concerned about is my knees. I got a torn ACL on one knee and about not much of my meniscus left in the other knee. So it's a battle. I got to keep just plugging along with doing what I can do. But yeah, some days it's pretty frustrating, that's for sure. But other days it's not too bad. But yeah, I kind of feel that depending on how work is. So if I'm grinding at work really hard that week, then I'm gonna have it's definitely hard in the knees. You know, being a bricklayer, concrete guy, it's 8-10 hours a day of, you know, lugging 100-pound pails of concrete around and brick and mortar and blocks. It tends to wear on the knees. So it all depends what I'm doing that week, how hard the grind is for work. But I'm pretty confident they're gonna hold up. I'm trying to schedule a surgery for right after the race, like maybe November type of deal. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Just that's all I can do, really. Just keep training and really work on rest, recovery, and physio and all that stuff. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, it's fun to watch, man. I mean, you doing that, having these running goals, and all the hunting, and the podcast, and family guy, and working that blue collar work, dude. Like, it inspires me, man. So love to see it.
Yeah.
When I'm in my office all day and I'm feeling, I don't feel like I want to run, then I watch you laying brick all day, then going to runs. It inspires me, dude.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, it's just a lifestyle, right? I feel like you know, for the most part, I've been doing for the work stuff. I've been doing it for so long that you know, that's not too bad. You know, you're pretty resilient to it. But you know, the running long distance, like I trained and you know, I wasn't really till I was about 40 that I got back into running. When I was playing, you know, junior hockey and stuff, I trained and ran then. And when I was, you know, in my 20s and stuff, I ran a bit here and there, but nothing like I do now. It's definitely hard. I tell you, working with a running coach definitely helps. That's a big thing for me, not overdoing it, because I feel like mentally it's not the issue. Mentally, I want to just keep pushing, but it's how recovery and how the body responds, and like learning how zone 2 works, and like pacing myself, and you know, the importance of speed work. That definitely makes a difference.
For sure.
What's the difference in training for you, for like training for an ultra compared to training for your just a regular 26er?
Yeah. So the big thing is always just get miles in and time on feet, I'd say. But then whatever race I have coming up next, the things that I will change is if my next race is a road marathon, I have no business being on the trails. I'm just going to stick to roads. I'm just going to simulate that environment.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm on trails, I'll still run some roads just for the convenience throughout the week, like my easy runs. But I'll try to get on trails at least a couple times a week. And those long runs on the weekends, definitely on trail. And I read, so Jason Koop is a pretty big named coach in the ultra running world. He's got some of the, he coaches some of the I don't know, bigger influencers and stuff like that. He has a book, 400 some pages, all about like guidelines to ultra running. So read that, took a bunch of notes. Something that's key is like you can, like I'll draw out on, I'll just even use like Onyx, like for my trail run, like on the trail, it'll give you that whole elevation.
Mm-hmm.
You can calculate like your, your whatever, your gain over X miles, whatever percentage that is. And then you can find that for whatever your race is too. And you just try to like marry that the best you can. So mine was like 11,000 feet of gain over 70 miles was my last ultra. So the like 20 and 30 mile runs I do, some of the trails around me, I try to map that out.
Mm-hmm.
That like whatever elevation gain that would equate to over 20 miles, and make sure I'm hammering on those like on the weekends. And for those big ultras, something I started doing this year, because before that 70 miler, the most I ever did was 36. So I skipped the 50 miler, I skipped the 100K, whatever. I was doing back-to-back long runs. And I probably wouldn't do that for a road marathon, because that I'm just really looking for like that speed, that quality of those speed numbers, and spending time at that race pace, even at those long runs. But these trails, you're building up your mental as much as your physical too. So it would be back-to-back days on the weekends, already 50 miles logged for the week, or 40, 50 miles, and then go hammer out like 20 miles on Saturday and another like 20 or so on Sunday. And really all you're doing, and I've heard people say it, but it's also referenced in the book, like you got to get used to running on tired legs. So did a few weekends of that, and I think it helped, man. I mean, you're just giving yourself more proof that you can keep going. That's the biggest thing I took from that.
Yeah, for sure. And even like those, that's the thing. Like you got into Western hunting. You said, how long ago? 4 years ago, roughly.
Yeah, 4 years ago was the first time we went out and chased elk in Colorado.
Yeah, and like you're if you're going on like anywhere from the 3, 5, 7, up here in BC, you hunt sheep, you can get into like 10, 15-day hunts, right? So that's that kind of, I feel like that mental game is the same as you'd be going through during an ultra.
It's the same mental. This is like what fascinates me, and that's why I keep running the ultras and doing it. And I love correlating the two, because it is that same muscle that you're flexing, that you're working, that you're trying to grow. It's the not quit. Don't worry about how much you have left. Focus on what you can do right now. Your day 5 into your 10-day, mule deer hunt, and you haven't seen shit, and it just sucks, and you got rain coming in, and it's like, you don't think about, I have 5 more days of this. You just think about, what can I do right now? Like what, it's the same thing in these races, man. That's why I love doing them both. And it's nice that, and then it's just a bonus that you're also building up your endurance too for the hunts.
Yeah, for sure. So what's it like for you? So do you just train year round, and you just train how you train, or is there specific things that you do in order to get ready for hunting season?
Yeah, so I'll definitely incorporate more backpack training closer to the hunt. I'll sprinkle it in through the winter and stuff too, just because like I'll always agree that yes, if you want to get better at backpack hunting, putting heavy weight on your back and hiking around is probably one of the best ways to get ready. So I'll incorporate that, of course, too. So I'll do that more towards the season. And I just like to kind of divvy up even almost my whole year into like different seasons. So I will train a little bit more weight training focused leading up to the hunting season, and then maybe the beginning of the winter, just because I like making sure that I'm keeping all that strength. Because if I just ran, I'd probably lose everything I've built. I feel like. So I focus a little bit on strength, but I don't give up. I don't ever give up one or the other. I just make one more of my focus. So right now it's the weights, it's the backpack training, still running just to give it scale 30 to 40 miles a week. I still feel like I can build strength with that. If I didn't run, maybe I could build strength a little quicker, but I can't help it. I like like both. But when
So
I was really
how
getting it
many days are you
for
running?
about 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh wow, still
A
so
lot
that's
of
quite
it's
a bit.
still just off feel. Like I can't help it. Some days too, I'm like, probably don't need to run today, but I want to. And then the days that I say I'm gonna run, I usually wake up and I don't want to, but I have to because I said I was going to. But yeah, I mean, probably somewhere around there. And then hunting season, like, which is really kicking off for me here soon. I'm just gonna do what I can and not get too worked up about it. Um, but then once that's all over, like I'm just gonna ramp it back up. But yeah, but then so like when I'm training for my ultras, I'm still, and I've really found this year because I'll track all my runs, I'll track all my stuff in the gym. I even really dial in my nutrition and track a lot of that too. When I'm leading up to a race, I will. I noticed when I was getting into those high mileage weeks of like 50, 60, 70 miles, um, it didn't matter how hard I pushed in the gym. Like I wasn't in the gym being like, I'm just maintaining because I'm more focused on running. Like that wasn't my mindset. My mindset was like, I'm still trying to get stronger and push it. But I did get to the point of diminishing returns. Like you're just asking way too much of your body with those weekly mileages. So it was like right up until that 70-mile ultra I ran the last couple weeks before, my numbers in the gym like even went down. And I'm like, okay, this is like your point on the curve where you're at diminishing returns. But that just when I focus there, and then I'll back off the running a little bit, focus on the weights, and then focus on hunting. And just I think that's what you need to do. I don't like to give up. I don't think you need to give up one completely if that's how you want to train or whatever. But I think one needs to be more of a focus.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think you can. I mean, if you love running or if you want to keep running in your life, then I think you have to maintain running. Even if you're trying to build muscle, I think you just have to have different focus on what
Yeah.
it is and just be clear on what goals you're trying to achieve. So I know like right now I definitely cut the weight training out and I went to a push pull leg split, which is only once a day. I kind of cut that back from training legs twice a day, or sorry, twice a week.
Yeah.
And then just one thing I found really effective was doing my runs. Like I really do enjoy the morning runs, like the AM runs, like getting up before runs, except for I find on Sundays that real long run that I've been doing. I have to do that later. I do that in the morning and I'm just a zombie. I just have a hard time recovering from that all day. So I have to do it later
Yeah.
in the
That's all
day
right.
or yeah. And then and then I'm fine. But yeah, I think you just definitely got to have a clear focus on what it is you're trying to achieve, but you definitely don't want to cut one out. I think if you try to cut one out completely, I think it'd just be so hard to try to get back into it. And like running is one
Yeah.
of those things, I think that, it's a marriage. If you want to be good at it, it's just like weight training. You got to keep doing it.
So yeah, you got to get in the lifestyle. Same with hunting. You ain't shooting your bow until right before season starts, and that's when you start looking at your e-scouting and stuff. Like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like you're gonna have a hard time when you're caught up in the
Yeah.
lifestyle. When it's like that old saying, like the man who enjoys walking is gonna walk further than the guy who likes is only after for the destination. Like
Yeah.
it's the lifestyle that's gonna get you far. I will just say as a side note, like I did mention what I feel like I can do with strength with that weekly mileages. 4 years ago, I don't even this was not like me. Like I just want to say for record, like I've worked up to this and I just feel like that's not maybe not talked about enough. Like this is like these are things you work up to. Like I don't think over years and years and years and years. Like I couldn't do this before, and I feel like some people look at people further down a path and think like, oh, I just can't. Like I could just never get there. Like I don't like that's just not true. Like I've worked to this to where I can say, yeah, I can go about 30 miles a week or so and still feel good in the gym. But that's taken a lot of time. That's just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
and it's consistent
Yeah,
too, and consistency
yeah,
compounds. And it is really, especially in today's day and age, with social media and everything, it's really easy to compare like let's just talk about running, your first 10 miles to somebody's, 10,000th mile or 100,000th mile, right? You're looking at what they're doing. You're like, well, I can do that too. And like, well, yes, you can. You will get there, but you have to
Yes.
do it. You have to be dedicated. You got to be consistent. Yeah, but especially in today's day and age, it's easy. It's easy to look at, from a 10,000-foot view of what other people are doing and try to, saying, oh, I want to do that, but you have to be willing to do it. You got to make sacrifices. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of early mornings, and you got to find time, right? You still, for all of us, like yourself and myself, we work a regular job, right? So it's not always easy to find time, but if you want to do it, you have to set goals for yourself, and you have to be honest about what you can do to achieve those goals. And I think that's what a lot of people do too, is they set these goals and they're just unrealistic. So they set, okay, I want to run a marathon. I've never ran before and it's 2 months away. And then they work really hard for 2-3 weeks and they're like, you know what, I can't do this. And they quit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I'm all for big dreams, man. Like I dream big all the time, but you have to kind of be like, you have to have an aggressiveness to that. Like dream big, like get after it, start going. You also have to be patient with it and like respect the game. Like if you never ran before, like, no, dude, you're not going to get that 3-hour marathon next month. Like, I don't care how bad you want it. You're not like, you got 50 pounds to lose before you can even, do much anything or something, but you can get that. You also need to be realistic. It just comes back to like, are you tied to the truth? Like, or not? Like, look at where you're at, look at where you need to go. What action steps can you realistically take today, tomorrow? And then just start working through a plan. Get something that's progressive, systemic, where you can see the results. Cause that's what's been like my thing, man. Like getting better and falling in love with like getting better has like gotten me much further.
Yeah.
Than just being like, that's my goal. That's it. I don't care about anything else, whatever. Cause there's gonna be days where you don't believe, like you just lose belief. Like you just feel tired or whatever. And you're like, I can't. But like, if you just fall in love with the process, the getting better, can I beat myself from last week? Can I beat myself from yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Can I go to bed tonight thinking like I got better today? If you just keep doing that, it just compounds.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. And that's a reward, right? The journey is a reward, not the end. So that's cool. And it's the same with hunting. It's funny, like same thing. You see all these guys, looking at Brian, he's already knocking down antelope, right? And I mean, like he's gonna go on for the next he's gonna go on for months, right? Knocking shit down. So but he's been at it his whole life, decades. He's been working hard, not just with the bow in his hand, but just in life, right? Like his business, personal life, like making sure things are locked down at home, and like all this stuff that we need to take care of and we need to get better at. And as you evolve as a hunter and as a person, you start to slowly get better at all these things, managing your time. And hunting's an evolution, man. It doesn't happen, and it takes decades to be good at it. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that it takes a lifetime. I mean, you tell any real successful hunter, they're always going to tell you, I still have lots to learn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're all forever students, and they'll be the first to tell you. Like, I listened to Brian's podcast, and I've messaged him a few times and stuff. Like, I don't want to speak for him, but I'm sure he's the type of guy that'll tell you like he's punching a lot of tags and stuff now because he's failed a lot, and like he learned a lot. And that's where people, I feel like you see that like in school growing up on like a little poster, like don't be afraid to fail, like shit like that. But like nobody really knows, at least for me, I didn't really come to grip with that until like honestly in my 20s. Like I used to, even growing up, like just whitetail deer hunting, and if I screwed one up, like the buck snorted at me or whatever, I'd be done for the whole year, man. Like I'd kick myself every day, call myself just unlucky. I don't have it. Like I just can't, I just can't do it. Like I just suck, like whatever. But no, like that's part of it. That's failing. Like take that circumstance that, yeah, it sucks. You did fail. Like, yes, but what can you learn from that? And then you just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. I mean, it's a game of falling, getting up, course correcting, and keep moving on. I mean, you're gonna have, especially in hunting, you're gonna spend, especially bow hunting. If you're a bow hunter out there, I mean, It's going to be tough. It's going to be unforgiving. You're going to have lots. You're going to be coming home lots empty-handed. That's just the way it is. I mean, I remember that first year I went bow hunting. It was a rough year, man. It was a slow progression to get where I am now, but there was a lot of days where, I thought, man, maybe I'll just pull my rifle out, or you know what I mean? Like
No.
maybe I'll just call it quits for the year, you know what I mean? Like, but you got to just keep pushing through it, and eventually it all starts to click like anything else in life.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So you got a hunt trip coming up, you said in Utah?
Idaho.
Idaho, sorry. Man, that's gonna be fun, eh? Is this your
Oh,
first
yeah.
time out there?
First time in Idaho. And first time, so first big Western hunting trip solo as well. So
Okay.
I'll back up. Like I said, first started going out west about 4 years ago. I went with actually my old man, and we just love. And just me personally, I don't want anybody's pins. I don't want to go with a guide. I don't want to know anything about. Well, I'll do research on the unit and stuff, but I just love the hunt of like driving out there, backpacking in, and setting up camp, and like just that public land DIY. You know what I mean? Because I know how fulfilling it is just doing that all yourself. And I'm not talking crap on people that go with guides or whatever. Like, I'm not against it. Private land, all that's all awesome. It's just like, this is what I love to do. So, and at that time, so spent a couple years going with him. Last year, went with a buddy of mine and him too. But I just always dreamed about like years ago when I'm trying to figure out even how to Western hunt, like listening to Aaron Snyder talk about his high country solo mule deer hunts. I just, like, I can't say I truly believed I could do it, at the time, but I was like, I'm just going to work to that. And I knew, like, I just got to spend time in the woods. Like, there's a whole woodsmanship to this that people don't even talk about. And like, how often have guys like camped out by themselves, like in a tent or whatever? Like, that's a mental thing that you got to work on too. So I'm back at East here. It'll take me, like 30 some hours of drive time to get out to Idaho where I'm at. So I'll do, so even years ago, and I'll still do it now because I like to use it to get ready for these hunts. I'll just go backpacking solo in the summer and just run all my gear. I just started doing that. I remember when I first started doing that, people will be like, why are you're going camping by yourself? Like, it's weird. I'm just like, I just deep down have these dreams, these hunts I want to do. And I just feel like this is what I need to do. So I've been doing a lot of that. I test all the gear when I'm doing that. We've done these rifle hunts. I've done with guys, going out there. And now, like, I feel like I'm finally ready. And then last year I did a solo scouting trip in Colorado. So it wasn't a hunting trip, but I was out there solo in August scouting for mule deer, which then we went back and hunted that same area in October. And it was nice. We killed a couple of bucks. But that was the longest I was by myself. And then now this year, I'm going to Idaho solo, high country mule deer with a bow, just like I've dreamed about for so long. And dude, so I can pull in there. I got 3 days to scout, and I can stay up to 10 days hunting. Like, I got the vacation all mapped out and everything. And that's the plan. And actually, so I don't take any PTO other than for this shit. So like, I have that trip coming up. I'm leaving at the end of this week. And then I'm going back out to Colorado with my old man end of October for elk, just over the counter elk. But
nice.
That's my Western plans this fall.
Yeah, you're right, man. And one of those things too is like getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And for a lot of people, it is hard, staying in a tent by themselves. It takes a while to get used to. It takes a while to be in the backcountry, where if things go south, things can really go south. You know what I mean? Like, it's life or death. I mean, there's things out there that are going to kill you. Bears and, cougars and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
So it does take a lot to get used to that as well. How are you with how are you settling into that?
So, but it's funny you say that. Yeah. Like, I remember one of the first weekends years ago, I just went and pitched a tent. I was actually scouting an area for whitetails in another state below us in Maryland. It's like in these or Appalachian Mountains. There's a good bit of black bear. And I remember at the time, because I hadn't spent, I mean, we grew up camping and doing outdoorsy and hunting shit, but like, I don't know. I challenge anybody, like, go out some public land, just spend a night in your tent. Just see how you feel. Like, are you ready for that 10-day hunt? Like, if you never done it before? I remember being a little bit more scared that weekend by myself, like knowing there's bears around versus like doing it now. But no, I think just over time, you realize like, all right, I'll carry a pistol. You just get a little bit more numb to it. You take precautions. You realize like, okay, most of your stress, especially, and this is true for like for life, like most of your stress is just your imagination.
Yeah.
And you probably got a better chance getting struck by lightning, which is also something a little things like can make you a little uneasy. But I don't know where I'm going. At least there's no grizz like where I'm going in Idaho, and I don't know. I think it just comes with time, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be either. So
Really?
But I understand too. Is there a chance of something getting a little Western? I mean, yeah, but I think that's like you have to understand. Like you have to respect that, but that's also part of the draw. And for me,
absolutely, man, it's that adventure. There's no grizzlies down in Idaho.
So some parts, yes, but specifically where I'm not, like, no.
Where you going? There is none. Oh yeah.
So like central, south central-ish, and a lot of the grizz are like up north near the Montana border and out near the Wyoming border.
Gotcha. Is it if there was? Do you think that would change your? Do you think that would change at all?
I don't know. We'll see. If I get that chance. I'm looking to hunt Wyoming next year, and I don't know if that'll be like if I can draw the general tag. If I end up in Grizz country, I don't even know. That trip might not even be solo anyway. But I still think, I don't know. I still think there's 100,000 different other ways that could go wrong first.
Oh yeah, I mean, if shit's gonna go south, it's gonna go south. And I mean, living in British Columbia, we have tons of grizzly bears and brown bears. It's just kind of one of those things. I mean, I grew up on a coastal city. We seen them all the time, right? Like we'd be fishing on river fishing and look up the river and you'd see brown bears eating salmon. So it's just kind of something that I guess we just grew callous to over the time. So I don't really think about it too much. I mean, I know guys that have had some serious run-ins with grizzlies. I've had definitely a few encounters that were probably a little too close for comfort, but I mean, it's just one of those things. If you love being outside, I mean, you could step off, you could be walking across a crosswalk and somebody could be on their phone and hit you, right? You know what I mean? Like if it's your time, it's your time. I mean, chances of that are probably better than, a grizzly popping in when you're trying to sleep or anything actually bad happening in the backcountry. I mean, if you prepare yourself too, I think, it comes down to, just preparation and just, always being cautious and, don't take anything for granted and you'll be okay for sure. I mean, very rarely do we ever hear of, hunters going missing. Once in a while you get, I think with the guides and stuff it's mostly, I think it was in last year, there was, in Alberta, there was, a guide and his guide was killed by a grizzly bear. But you don't, if you think about all the time.
You don't hear about it.
No, exactly. I mean, if you compare that to any other type of death, I mean, it's pretty minuscule compared to, anything else that could happen just in day-to-day life.
I guess I just hadn't thought about it. And I don't know if I was planning to go solo and I had a good elk tag in Wyoming where there was grizz, that probably wouldn't stop me. Like, I guess. Yeah, I just hadn't thought about it.
Yeah. So mule deer, is that your mule deer your passion? Elk, where are you at right now?
There's something about these mule deer that's really been like drawing me, and I haven't yet. This is my first time chasing them with the bow, like in the high country, and I do really like. I know it's gonna be hard. I feel like a lot of people just romanticize some of these hunts, almost like. I mean, they are very romantic, but you don't see how like all this suck on social media and stuff. Like I'm aware how tough they can be. but I do feel like this might be my bread and butter. I don't know. I was reading, like, I've read Dwight Schrute's book, I've read like the Eastman's books and Robbie Denning's books, and I killed a 4x4 last year during the gun season. I mean, we were still up in some higher country in Colorado, but this would be the first year chasing with the bow, and I still hunted through the timber and killed that one with my rifle, only within 50 yards last year. But to get one like in its bed on a stalk, um, I don't know. It does have me pretty excited. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like mature mule deer bucks, that's pretty much the pinnacle is, glassing them, letting them get settled. A lot of those bucks, they do move after they first set down or lay down. They do get up again and move again, sometimes one or two more times and get really comfortable for the day. And I mean, if you can get the opportunity to sneak in with your bow and put an arrow in, it's pretty awesome. What kind of I'm trying to picture the sort of topography down there in lower Idaho. What kind of are you gonna do spot and stock, you figure, or are you gonna be doing a lot of still hunting?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be that's my game plan, spot and stock for sure.
Yeah, so it is
Actually,
open enough where you can spot them in the mornings and or late in the evenings and
yeah, definitely. Where I'm at, it's pretty steep country. It looks like I've had numerous phone calls too to like just game and fish out there, Forest Service, wilderness guys, just bullshitting. Not that all of them hunt, but just to get more of a lay of the land and just tons of e-scouting and all that kind of stuff. So definitely spot and stock's going to be the jam. And even if I kind of wanted to still like, there isn't a lot of growth. It's pretty dry, and I'm used to these Colorado big basins of just like green up like everywhere and just so much feed. I assume that's why they get so big there. Just like if I was a mule deer, that's where I'd live. Like a lot of these parts in Idaho are pretty dry. So I'm gonna really focus on these north slopes or northeast slopes that are just any of these cooler areas. And it looks like I'll find some little bit of growth there, like some junipers and stuff, but it's not going to be, I don't think, dense enough to still hunt anyway. But I think a glass them up, spot and stock is going to be my best chance, and also I think that's probably the most fun way to do it.
yeah. There's something about mule deer, and I kind of, I went to a good heavy mule deer phase where I was just, I couldn't get enough mule deer. Would sacrifice every other animal just to go mule deer hunting. And this was before I was hunting strictly with a bow. I was still hunting using a rifle as well back then, primarily mostly rifle. But yeah, there's something about those bigger mule deer, man. They just, there's like a lot of people, it's funny, you talk about like the hardest animals being sheep or goats, but to try to get a older class mule deer buck is got to be one of the most frustrating, aggravating, and painful processes of just complete highs and lows. Where like, oh, you see one and he busts you, and oh, there's another one and he busts you, and like failed stalk and like, oh, he heard me, and like, oh, he caught my wind, and like just
Mhm.
endless marriage of these highs and lows that. And I think that's the allure to them. I mean, other than the fact that they look just completely awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny because I have whitetails, which is more similar to a mule deer than an elk, but I don't know. There is something about these mule deer that's drawing me, and I can't claim to be an expert at all or anything. I'm pretty young in this game, but I do feel like just from listening to all the podcasts and everything, like what you're saying about these big mule deer, like it is almost like a pedestal, more on a pedestal than like a big elk. Like
Yeah.
I feel like guys talk a little bit more about the score of a big mule deer and how tough and how smart they are versus like a big scoring bull. Like I don't know, but I get it though. Can't explain it, but I get it.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're getting into the 200 plus for mule deer, that's the number, like 200 plus. And like when people talk about, that golden number 400-inch elk, I mean, like you can get a 380 big 6x6 with, big back scratchers on them, just an amazing bull. But when, great animals, like an over 400-inch bull just doesn't do it for me like an over 200-inch mule deer.
Yeah. And I'm saying, yeah, as if I've seen numerous 200-inch mule deers, which I haven't, but like, I get what you're saying. Like the goals I have, like I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. They just, like you said, there's something about that 200-inch mule deer, like he's on a pedestal, and yeah, it's, you know, yeah, they're such cool animals. I know when I haven't gotten like I have shot over 200-inch mule deer, not with my bow though.
Okay.
I kind of right now I'm just in this groove, the last few years I just love chasing elk, and if you're going to be really serious about those big mule deer bucks, I feel like you kind of got to sacrifice a little bit of everything else and basically just have that as your number one goal. Whereas like my goal this year, it's not going to be to shoot an elk and shoot a mule deer and a bear and a whitetail. It's going to be just to shoot a 200-inch mule deer.
And that's what you'll hear Robbie Denning say. Like he just
Yeah.
said, that's what I want. And he had to.
Yeah.
He had to give
for
it
sure.
up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I know for me, when I was lucky enough to get some of those big deer, that was pretty much it. Maybe a spring bear and maybe a late season whitetail. Here you can hunt whitetails till December 20th. So, but even then, I mean, like by that time you spend, 45 days chasing mule deer, 45 days chasing mule deer. You don't have much left in the tank, not just yourself, but like, family at home, work, you only have so much time that you can, manage, whether it's days off or, days away from home. You still got a life at home too that you have to attend to. So, but yeah, man, I agree. There's something about those big muleys that they should
Yeah.
get me fired up.
Yeah.
So, how long you been shooting a bow?
Grew up bow hunting. I kind of grew up on like I'm thankful that my dad had a couple acres that we could at least get out there and sit in a stand and bow hunt, at least make it like something. Like
Yeah.
um
So where you are, how many hunters are there where you are, like in Pennsylvania?
a lot. I think PA is one of the most densely populated states of hunters for sure. And
Yeah.
I grew up hunting mostly just like that, like field edge, like you got your ladder stand fixed off a field edge. They come out and feed, and they're either there or they're not, which was like fun. But I didn't get that same chess match challenge feeling that I get when I started going out west. And really, once I started exploring that, I kind of took that whole challenge, and I've also like with this running developed a lot more of a growth mindset where, I believe I can just keep learning and learning and learning and do these other things. So then I started chasing whitetails on our public lands. And depending where you're at, I mean, the rifle season gets hit pretty hard in most of our public land, on our public land here. Like you'll see a lot of orange. But depending where you're at, I mean, I do okay in the archery season as far as hunting pressure. I don't get around too many guys typically. And so with that on our public land, it's a lot of mobile hunting, just with like a hang on stand or whatever. And you're hunting that, and like that is like the ultimate chess match. Like you got to learn your deer all spring. You get out there and scout all spring. Really try to dial things in the summer, running cameras. Like guys like to use cell cameras. I'm not against it. I just don't. I'll just use the regular trail cameras, and I like to look back on the historical data and try to play the chess match to set myself up, later on. But you're hunting those bedding areas, any feeding areas, depending on time of year, on the hot sign where they're laying down their scrapes or their rubs, depending on the time of year. I mean, there's podcasts on how to hunt public land whitetails, but that's what I do now, and that is like
Podcasts on everything.
That's what I love to do. And even like my family's like, why don't you just go back and hunt? Like you can kill that good buck that's running around, your family's property. And I'm just like, that I don't want to do it. I don't want it. I don't want to go back and say, I want to move. I want to learn the deer and figure it out and play the game. So that's what I like to do now. But yeah, grew up. So bow hunting on we call it our farm, like that. But then really the last like 3, 4, 5 years really dove into like becoming a better archer. And I feel like that's been huge for me in my development as a hunter, like actually learning how to tune. And because like growing up, we had our same old, what I have, I think it was a Matthews mission, their mission series. But you get a little older, crank up the draw, like you know, your draw weight, your draw length, and all that. But we didn't look at spine of arrows or whatever. You're shooting the same arrows. I don't remember checking through paper that often, and like, but now I do really take pride in building arrows and tuning and things like that. So definitely dove down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
too.
tuning is definitely
It's huge.
it's massive, and like it's not a how often, it's how many arrows type of thing. And a lot of guys, I know some of the bows that some guys bring to me, I'm just like, oh my goodness, when's the last time you even looked at this thing? And they're like, oh, when I bought it, and it'll be like an RX2 or something like that, and you're like, what the
Yeah, well, and you can go way crazy into tuning and stuff. And I like to sometimes just because like I'm an engineer by trade. So like I just love the numbers and testing and stuff. But I mean, a huge bulk to get yourself dialed in, just shooting through paper, moving your rest, like that's not that hard. But I talk to guys like that, like I just don't want to mess anything up. I'll go pay, Joe Schmo at the shop to do it. And it's like, yeah, but then Joe Schmo is shooting your bow through your paper. He has a different grip. He's going to anchor things differently. Like, it's really not tuned. Like,
no, it's not. And you can't have anyone else shoot your bow.
You have to be shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's one of those things too. I think a lot of people, you're saying they're getting too deep into the weeds. I think a lot of people do get too deep into the weeds. They seem to suck up too much information rather than just going out and shooting.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you can fiddle fuck with your bow as much as you want, but you got to shoot it, man. I mean, like, you got to shoot those arrows. It helps to have a properly tuned bow. It helps to have arrows that are properly set up for your bow, for your poundage, for your draw weight, for your all that stuff, for what you're shooting. If you're shooting, if you're shooting 125 grains broadheads with 75 grain inserts, and your spine counts 450, you're shooting a 7-pound bow, it's you might want to have a look at that. But I mean, all these things people get into is these days, it's like, man, just go out and shoot your bow, like set it up. Yes, shoot through paper, it's hitting good, now just go shoot 1,000 arrows, and that's it.
Yeah, because really you ain't gonna tune much for shit if you're not consistent with your form.
Exactly.
I'll be the first to tell you, when I first started going down the rabbit hole and I had a grip that wasn't consistent, like some shots I was probably doing this, like you're gonna get different tears. That was
and your grip too is one of the most important, like that's the most important aspect of shooting. I mean, like everything else is so personal with shooting, right? That's why you can't say to somebody, well, where their anchor should be, because everyone's facial features are different. You can't tell them, where the string should touch their face, or if it should touch their nose at all, or
or what release
to use, or whether to punch the thumb release or pull through the shot, or smack it with your middle finger. It doesn't matter. All that shit doesn't matter as long as you're doing the same act consistently over and over and over and just repeating it. You're gonna be good. Like, you're gonna be good.
To do
now
that,
just go out and
you gotta shoot your bow.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to reps. It's like anything else, like we talked about, like putting these miles on, right? Training for this Boston Marathon. I know it's gonna come. I just got to put the miles in, right? And unfortunately, I'm, like I was saying, before my year, I have less years to live than I have lived. So unfortunately, I'm just hoping to God my body keeps holding out. While I'm training for it.
Man.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun. One thing, I gave up drinking pretty much this whole year. I quit drinking. Not that I drank a lot, but I mean, that helps a lot too. Not having that inflammation in my body, and diet. One thing I found about running all these miles, man, is fuck, I'm just constantly hungry. Always hungry. Like more so than like, I'll get into moods where like right after Christmas I was hitting the weights pretty hard. I was trying to put on some weight, some muscle, and I did. I put on like probably close to 10 pounds of muscle. I'm not nearly as hungry as I am now. I'm just like, it just seems I can't eat a lot. I mean, granted, we are pretty busy at work, so I've been, grinding at work pretty hard, but fuck, just like wake up like hungry always.
I know. What's helped me is like make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Make sure
Yeah.
you're getting in all your salt, because sometimes you'll be thinking like you just want to keep eating just to get your salt in, when really you're just low on your salt.
Yeah.
But like it's okay. Like we're asking a lot of our bodies, and that's gonna
Yeah.
fuel for the next one and recover from the last one. Like it's okay.
Yes.
I
Salt
get
is
hungry
huge.
too, and I just try to pound the protein too. And like
Yeah.
that's when I know I'm full. If like I'm like, okay, like I'm stuffed from like this chicken, but like if I'm looking at like something sweet or whatever, it's like, no, dude, you're full. Like that's a craving. Like
Yeah.
yeah. But it's still all, you gotta put it back in. Like we're asking a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't want to be deficient, that's for sure. You don't want to be under taking too less. It's better to take a little bit more, especially because you're going to burn it off, right? You're going to use it
Yeah.
rather than be deficient. But yeah, protein's one big thing. I generally don't. I mean, I try to eat pretty clean, but I don't really get into counting macros too much. I mean, I don't eat a lot of bread or anything like that. But protein's a big one. I try to have, 200, 240 grams of protein a day, pretty consistently. So, I mean, few of those mule deer steaks or elk steaks, that definitely helps. So, but my freezer's getting pretty low. So thank God hunting season's right around the corner.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, man. So you got any other hunts planned?
um, yeah, so it's gonna be, Idaho mule deer, come back. Um, you're gonna be chasing whitetails. That starts for us the first weekend in October. So really, I have a few weekends in September, and what I'm gonna do during that time, and this will be fun. I haven't shared much of this on my Instagram yet, but we're getting down to it now. Just because it's one of those hunts where like you kind of don't want to get around too many people or whatever. But regardless, so New Jersey is a state here that's pretty dense with bears, but it's also pretty liberal. So a few years ago, they outlawed the bear hunting, and now they are in the same governor who outlawed it. I mean, you can guess what political party he's affiliated with. Same guy brought it back because they're having so many problems. So, and you can actually bait, but you can't hunt on the bait, which kind of sucks. You got to be at least 100 yards off the bait. I know. It's like if you want to manage it, actually manage it. And
What difference does it make at that point? I mean, you could shoot a rifle 100.
I know. Well, you can't. So the state in itself, because it's pretty densely populated. I mean, not where the bears are, but they just have this whole law
You
throughout
can't
the
use a
state.
rifle.
You can't. It's inline muzzle loaders.
Oh, I see.
Is the only gun thing, but it's going to be open for a week in October. First few days are archery, and then the last couple of days you can have that muzzleloader, or you can still hunt with the bow. I have an inline. I would like to kill it with the bow, though. We'll see, but I'm going to go out there, and my brother and I are going to try to take it to him and set up these bait sites and see what happens, because we've done baited bear hunts like up in Quebec. I was in Quebec. I'm not sure where his was. We loved it. Like I even did some of the baiting with, like we just got dropped off with bait and we did the baiting. And I'm like, man, this is like, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure at first like how I'd feel hunting over bait, because we don't hunt deer over bait or anything like that. But bears, it's a little different, especially because that's how you're gonna get them, man. Like shit's just way too thick, and like it's not like they're everywhere like the deer. And I really enjoyed it, like getting close with them. So
Yeah,
we're gonna try that in New Jersey, and then chase whitetails, and then go back out to Colorado, and then go to Colorado and hunt elk end of October. So
nice. It all
busy.
planned out. Yeah, no doubt. What's so do you put in for any of these out of state draws like mountain goat or anything like that?
So I've been building points. I haven't put my name in any of the draws. I mean, I got a pretty nice, diverse portfolio, I guess. Probably nothing much like yourself or your other buddies, but I'm a young newcomer in this game, I feel like still. But I do build points for goat and sheep in Colorado. And I know some of those other states is pretty random. I've yet to put my name in for that, but I'm just gonna build points Bill points there. I mean, that sheep is a long shot, but I know there's a little bit of randomness to it in Colorado for their sheep. And the goats, I mean, I don't think I'd be if they're allocating a tag for a nanny, it doesn't take me quite as long to draw. I mean, I don't think I'm against hunting a nanny, especially if the tag's allocated. Like,
Yeah,
part of me
as
is
long
like,
as it's not with a kid. Like here in BC, we can get over the counter goat, and it's as long as you can shoot them. It's just you're not supposed to shoot them if they're with a kid. So
yeah.
same
So,
thing. More saying it's same. You don't want to be even if it's doe season. You don't want to be shooting a doe with a young fawn. So it's kind of the same thing.
right. Same
Same
thing
with
with
bears.
bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I wouldn't. Yeah, I get it. So, yeah, I put it for those, and then pretty much deer, elk, antelope, everywhere else I can.
Yeah.
Just
No
building
doubt.
the portfolio, which is nice because it's like I'm now getting to the point these next couple of years where I'm going to start cashing in at least on like some good mid tier tags. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it expensive to put in for those out of state draws?
Depends where what you're doing. I know for Colorado, just to buy a point for the sheep is $100, and then a goat is another $100. Um, and then
And that's
I
not even
don't.
buying the tag. I guess the tag is.
Oh yeah, your goat tag, couple grand, and that's just your tag.
It's funny. So like,
I know, and yeah,
I
you're
only
like in the best spot, man.
no. Well, no, we're not. Like, I only asked this question because we were on the weekend. My cousin and I were sitting there talking, and he was like, "Well, I have to buy a hunting license." And I was like, "Okay, we'll just go online buy a hunting license." So he goes online. He's like, "It's $32 now to buy a fucking hunting license."
Oh my god, get the hell out of here, dude!
I was
Our
like,
the elk tags in Colorado for a non-resident are $750.
"Yeah," and see, like I think an elk tag is like $20, and like a goat, like the most expensive tags are like mountain lion, which is over the counter. It's $60. But like,
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
on
Like,
par though. If I lived in Colorado, it's that's closer to that.
is it okay? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I know it's funny how it's funny how up here how much you take it for granted. You know what I mean? I mean, like we pretty much have. Well, we don't have caribou now. It all went to LEH in the province. So other than that though, but I mean it's yeah. Hopefully we get a new government coming in the fall, and we start to take our wildlife a little more seriously. It doesn't seem like this current government they really give a shit about it. So
yeah.
is one of those things. Politics is politics, I guess. I mean, you guys got crazy shit going on.
I can't
I don't
believe like
really,
it's crazy.
I don't really know much about it other than what I get from Greg Poole on his Instagram. But yeah, he's a hardcore Republican. I take it just from all his posts, but
Yeah, our
it's pretty entertaining.
yeah, it's just. I mean, it gets to the point where everything's just so ridiculous now, and it's like I can't believe these are our two best options like right now. Because our
Okay,
yeah,
well, this is a funny thing. So like, we're all sitting up here in Canada, right? And we'll be all sitting around, and like we see Biden and Donald Trump, two idiots going, and you're like, so out of a country that has like all this great engineering, 350 million people, this is who is like, this is their best two options to run it. It's like,
it blows my
we
mind.
can't talk. I mean, we got a dipshit running our fucking country too.
Yeah, I see some of your stuff too, and like I'm like, damn, they like it looks like you guys are struggling too. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we're I think that's just part of government, right? I mean, do a lot of good stuff and then but it
yeah,
just, but one of the issues with our government too is like liberals have been in power for 10 years. That's too long. I mean, it was the
too
same thing
long.
with the conservatives got when they got overtaken by the liberals. It's just too long. I like the way your guys' system set up every 4 years, run 2 terms max,
Yep.
get some new blood in there.
Yeah, but it's the people. There's people behind the scenes that like are
Oh yeah.
not leaving. That
Mhm.
like
And never don't want to
clearly
leave either.
they're puppeteering like everything and whatever. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But what about like the wildlife up there in BC? Like as far as predators, like are they like because some of our western states, it just they're having a hard time fighting.
Yeah, I mean, like they do. There is a fairly big wolf call up in northern province where they're shooting from helicopters just because they're so bad. It's a struggle. Like anything else. I mean, more logging, more opportunity for wolves, right? Wolves are such efficient killers. You know, they introduced this one thing a few years ago called predator prey reduction program, where they figured let's kill all the moose to save the caribou. Obviously,
Okay.
that didn't work out very well. It's just fucking bonehead things like that, right? And like they took away the grizzly bear hunt for no
Yeah,
reason.
I did see that. Yeah.
So they took that away. The NDP government was a non-elected government. They took power, and that was the first thing they did. They took it away. So I mean, it happened before. Hopefully, it comes back. I mean, but you know, that's a big thing, right? I mean, you get more grizzly bears. But grizzly bears take more area. They consume more. Pushes other predators further away. So, yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough, and nobody seems to care as much about saving the deer as they do saving the wolf or stopping the grizzly bear hunt. It just seems like with these anti-hunting groups, they seem to get really attached to like these predators. Whereas,
Yeah.
like with the wolves, right? Stop the wolf hunting. Stop the cougar. I mean, it's pretty hard to stop cougar hunting in Canada. I mean, like you can't even really put a dent on them. There's so many cougars, right? But same with the bears. It's like why? You know what I mean? Like why it you they have to be managed, unfortunately. And a lot of them are like, oh, just let nature take its course. Well, unfortunately, we've imposed too much on Mother Nature and it doesn't work that way anymore. It's already gone too far, and the pendulum swung too far in one direction. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that argument never made sense to me because it's like, okay, you want to bring they're voting in the east side, like in the front range of Colorado, in Denver and Boulder, to bring wolves back. They actually brought in wolves that aren't even like native to Colorado, but they want
Yeah,
like
weren't they like timber wolves from
something
Alberta?
like that. I
Yeah,
forget what it was, but it wasn't like they were ever actually there. And
yeah.
then they want things back to where they were. Nature take its course. It's like, okay, but you're sitting on the front range in the cities, and you want all that, and you're putting it in the back country, on the back side of the mountains, where all the like cattle ranches and stuff have to deal with like freaking problems from what you're saying you want. It doesn't make sense. If that's what you
No, they
want,
they create the problem, and
let
then somebody else
move
has to
out of
deal
your
with it.
city, and we'll put the bears and the wolves there.
Or fuck it, just put the wolves there, or the
That's what I'm
bears
saying.
there.
Yeah,
Let's put the bears
yeah.
in the city. Fuck it.
And if that sounds crazy, well, it's yeah, it is. So like,
It makes about much sense for me to take some grizzly bears and stick them in Vancouver as it does all the people in Vancouver having a say on the grizzly bear hunt and rest of British Columbia, which they never go. Where they never go, they go to fucking Whistler, right? The ski hill that's
yeah, exactly.
4-lane highway the whole way. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, need to. Hopefully, though, we can just, it's not really them. It's just the non-hunting public that their eyes. We got to, as long as we can stay in their good books and we can just keep, portraying hunting in a positive way, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so. And that's actually something I try to keep at the forefront, like even sharing what I do. Like I don't have a massive following or anything, but I would like to get more into the space and make some continue to share more of what I do, because I try to just keep everything positive, man. And it's like, look how like me and my buddies like getting ready for hunting season, like, and even our grip and grins and stuff like that. It's very like respectful for the animal. We love the adventure. We're putting so much time into preparing for it. Like it's a beautiful discipline.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I think we as hunters are doing a better job is not betraying ourselves anymore. As like the guys shooting deer out of trucks with beer cans in the back.
Yeah,
Like
I hope we
I mean
are.
that
Yeah.
unfortunately it still does happen, but that's not what's getting shared. And people that talk shit on guys like Joe Rogan and Cam Hanes and stuff, it's like they're posting nothing but positivity towards what we're doing. They're getting more people involved to help keep things.
Yeah, that's important, and that's the nice thing about being in these different aspects of like being in ultra marathons and meeting with people non-hunters like that. Like you reach a huge, like the running community is huge, and if you're touching and reaching and sharing your stories, not just of like running, but like your life, which is hunting for me is a huge part of my life. If you meet people through something else first and they get to know you and then you expose to the fact like, yeah, I take the responsibility of harvesting all my own meat for me and my family. We don't buy store-bought meat. We buy the meat that I go out and I spend days and days hunting.
Mm-hmm.
that's what we eat, right? We eat protein. I mean, like, it is what it is. And if you can expose them to that in a different light, then they already know you in another light. They're like, well, you know what? Maybe this is something that, I should have another look at rather than just throwing judgment at it.
And that's not just talk. Like, that's real. Like, I can tell you that firsthand. Like, I meet all these people at these ultra races that are so fun because everybody's so, you can't be a negative person and run an ultra marathon. Like, everybody, you have to be just,
Yeah.
have a good frame of mind and stuff. But even like I'll explain what I'm doing. Cause it always starts like, how'd you get into running? Well, so I do these like backpack hunts, right? Like, I go out west and I carry these animals out on my back or whatever. And this helps me get ready for that, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's real. And like, I joined this running club too. We go and we do these like real tough track workouts, man. It's awesome. Like in our city of Pittsburgh. And like, I'm sure a lot of people that I just became friends with, like, I don't know what their stance is on hunting. They probably never thought about it or whatever, but we end up just connecting more, becoming friends. They follow my Instagram. I mean, you look at my Instagram, you can kind of see what things I'm all about. And a lot of conversations have come up like, hey, you started sharing, like I saw you sharing about like going on your Idaho trip to hunt. Tell me about that. And like, I've like the mountains tattooed on my arm and stuff. And that talks conversation, just a ton of those conversations. And now it's like I'm leaving this week. I saw everybody last week and they're like, good luck, man. Like, I can't wait to see pictures of like the deer and stuff. And all those people have never hunted before, but like they know me. And like
and those are the people we need to touch and we need to
those
talk
are
to.
the fence, the middle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you're never going to, somebody that's sitting on the other side of us, you're never going to change their mind. You're never going to change somebody who's dead set against hunting. It is what it is. Like, it's really hard to change their mind. Not saying never. I mean, but very unlikely. It's the people, the voters that we touch every day. We touch, we come across in our life that we touch and we make part of what we do. And if they know you first before all this, and they know, hey, this guy's a really good guy, it makes all the difference. We just got to keep doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, good guy, and like, look how much they prepare and train, like how much they love it, and
how much discipline, dedication they have.
Yeah.
And you talk about that, and like that's the thing. And like these guys see you, like, wait, what? This ultra marathon is training for hunting. Like, how hard is hunting? Like, don't you just drive around drinking and shooting animals?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I get asked. I remember I got asked one time. Like, they're like, "So do you eat? Like, do you eat it?" Like, after, I was like, "Of course, yeah." And like,
that's the trophy, man.
The whole process, but I mean, it's not their fault. Their own ignorance or whatever. But if somebody walked up to them with a pamphlet that said like, "Stop," bear hunting, like they'll be like, "Okay," like they don't know that.
Well, and it's the light, and it's they don't know, right? It's the light they put it in, right? Because they can show you all this stuff about all this unethical stuff that probably happens, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because there is bad instances and there's bad apples out there that ruin it for all of us. But if they already know, if you've already made them part of your life, and you've already shared your journey and being a hunter and your process and how much it means to you, they're going to get that and be like, you know what? I know a guy who hunts. He works his ass off to get,
he eats the animals, and he
eats the animals. So whatever you're feeding me is a bunch of bullshit. So no, thank you. And that's where it counts.
And that's real. That's real talk. And yeah,
for sure. Well, brother, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for hopping on the show, man. I know we're chatting about it for a bit. So I'm glad we can make it happen.
For sure, man.
Real quickly, where can everybody follow along and your hunt coming up?
Yeah, so big on Instagram. So it's at Weston Homa, WestonHoma. I'm on Facebook a little bit too, just my name, Weston Homa. But it's mostly Instagram. Love connecting with guys, dude. Love learning from other guys, sharing what I do, just that back and forth and like building each other up and just talking about hunting and stuff. I love it.
Man.
So,
and you're always grinding too, so it's good to see you either lifting weights, shooting your bow, running, getting ready for hunting. It's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Cool, buddy. Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, man. Thanks.